5 persons suspected to be masterminds of the 2022 bombing of St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo, Ondo State, have pleaded not guilty to 9 counts of terrorism filed against them by the federal government. The suspects, Idris Omeiza, Al-Qasim Idris, Jamiu Abdul Malik, Abdulhaleem Idris, as well as Momoh Abubakar, who were arraigned before Justice Emeka Nweti of the Federal High Court on Monday, are accused of being members of Al-Shabab terrorist group with a cell in Kogi State. Justice Nweti has fixed August 19, 2025 for the commencement of trial. The judge equally ordered the suspects to be remanded in the custody of the Department of State Services, DSS. The arraignment of the suspects come 3 days or 3 years, after the then Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabor, said those behind the attack were arrested. And now to discuss this in detail, we're joined by legal practitioner Taiwo Ojumu. Mr. Ojumu, it's good to have you join us. What are the legal implications of pleading not guilty to terrorism charges under Nigerian law, particularly under the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act of 2022?
Yes, thank you very much. Before I proceed, let me quickly say a few things. Let me build the background before I go into the details of your question. Now, let me quickly borrow from an old Greek proverb that says that the wheels of justice may turn slowly, but it grind exceedingly fine. What that means is that though justice may suffer some delay, in the end, it will prevail. Now, coming to your question, the thing is that if a suspect or an accused person pleads not guilty, what that will mean is that the case will go into full trial. And because a full trial will mean that there will be evidences will be adduced, witnesses will be called, and there will be examination, cross-examination, and all that. So it will make the case a bit longer. That's basically the difference between pleading guilty and not guilty. But in this case, if you plead not guilty, the case will go into full trial. But I must say that it's a big relief of some sort, even though we know that there's no amount of justice that can return over 40 worshippers that were murdered in cold blood. At least the good thing is that this can come. This comes with some kind of relief that at last justice is being served.
Given the gravity of the crime, is bail an option for any of the defendants? Under what conditions could they be granted or even denied bail?
Yes, well, the general rule is that the grant or refusal of bail is at the discretion of the court. But in matters of this nature, in criminal matters like matters that are capital offenses like murder, terrorism, and the like, bail is not usually granted. But in very, 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 very slim and unusual circumstances, a kind of medical bail can be granted. Bail in where, if, for instance, one of the accused person is seriously sick, and that refusal to grant him bail may be very injurious and fatal. But ideally, bail is never granted for matters of this nature, like terrorism.
What are the implications of high-profile terrorism cases like this on public confidence in law enforcement and the judiciary?
Yes, the implication is that a lot of people begin. I could recall. I live in Ondo State. I work in Ondo State here, and throughout my adult life, I've never witnessed. I've only heard in the news. We've seen in pictures and videos of a brutal terrorist attack. But 3 years ago, precisely in June 2022, we under the leadership of somebody like Aketi, who was very, very heavy on security matters, to witness and experience that kind of tragedy actually affected a lot of people from those states. I could recall then, it affected the trust and confidence of many indigenes of the state. I could recall that I received many calls from friends across the country and outside the country. They were asking me if we were safe. And I told them that there's nothing happening here beyond the fact that I was attacked. Now, the thing is that things like this could go a long way in affecting the trust of people. People who intend, Ondo State citizens and foreigners who intend to invest in the states might be worried of their safety. But I can assure you that things, what's it called? Since things have taken a different turn, the security of the state has greatly improved, I must say that. And so it is not as bad as it used to be. But yes, things like this can go a long way in affecting the reputation of a state, and foreign investors might be afraid of their safety.
All right. I must say thank you so much for taking out the time to join us. Taiwo Ojumu, he is a legal practitioner, joined us live from Ondo State to give us insight as 5 persons suspected to be masterminds of the 2022 bombing of St. Francis Catholic Church.